In this lesson, we've been looking at ratios, rates, and conversions. So we're going to take a look at some examples to help us practice working with ratios and rates and so on. So let's take a look at this first example. It says there are 17 girls and 15 boys in the math class. Express the number of girls to boys as a ratio using three different formats. Now remember, it's important that we write the ratio as is given to us. The ratio is girls to boys. So we can write that ratio 17 to 15, like that. We can write it as 17 with a colon in between to 15 in this format. And we can also write the ratio in what we would call fraction form, 17 to 15. So those are the three common ways that we would usually express a ratio. Now if we were comparing boys to girls, those numbers would flip. It would be 15 to 17 instead of 17 to 15. So remember the order as you're writing your ratio. Next it says the ratio of the number of A's earned on the test to the number of B's on the test is 2 to 1. If there are 8 B's earned, how many A's were earned? Now remember, one thing about ratios is that the ratio expresses a multiplicative relationship. If our ratio is 2 to 1, then that means that the number of A's is 2 times or twice as many as the number of B's. So we had 8 B's on the test. Because the ratio is 2 to 1, A's to B's, we have twice as many A's. So we can multiply that number by 2 to get the number of A's. Okay, let's take a look at this next example. It says, what is 8 pounds 3 ounces converted to ounces? One thing that will help us on problems like these is what we refer to as the conversion factor. So conversion factor is just a ratio that has both the units we're starting with and the units we're converting to in it. For example, the conversion factor for ounces to pounds is, I'll just write that right here, 16 ounces per pound. So in 1 pound we have 16 ounces. We're going to use that conversion factor to determine how many pounds or how many ounces are in 8 pounds 3 ounces. Let's start with the 8 pounds. We're going to write our 8 pounds as a fraction, and we're going to multiply the 8 pounds by the conversion factor. So we're going to multiply that 8 pounds by 16 ounces per 1 pound. When we do that, the pound units cancel, and we're left with 8 times 16 ounces, all divided by 1 times 1 is 1, and that gives us an amount of 128 ounces. Now we're not done yet because that's just the conversion of the pounds. The question was, what is 8 pounds 3 ounces converted to ounces? So we're going to take those 8 pounds that we have now converted and express those as 128 ounces and add that to the 3 ounces for a combined total of 131 ounces. Okay, in this next example it says if the motorcycle is traveling 50 kilometers per hour, what is its speed in meters per second? Okay, as we look at that, we'll see that not only are we wanting to convert kilometers to meters, we are also wanting to convert hours to seconds. So because we are changing 2 units, we are going to have to multiply by 2 conversion factors. So let's start by writing this motorcycle speed as a ratio. So we have 50 kilometers traveled in 1 hour. So that's 50 kilometers per hour. Now the conversion for kilometers, the conversion factor for meters to kilometers is 1,000 meters per 1 kilometer. The conversion factor for seconds to hours is 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. Oh, I've got that backwards. Let's just back that up there and write that conversion factor as 1 hour in 3,600 seconds. And you'll see why I wrote the conversion factor in this way as we do our multiplication. So as we look at this, we have 50 kilometers per 1 hour multiplied by 1,000 meters per 1 kilometer multiplied by 1 hour per 3,600 seconds. Okay, well, as it so happens that kilometers will cancel kilometer units and hours will cancel the hour units, and so we're left with units of meters and seconds. When we multiply, we get 50 multiplied by 1,000, and the units that remain are meters. And in the denominator, we have 1 times 1 times 3,600. So we have 3,600 units of seconds. Well, as we look at that, we can divide numerator and denominator by 100, and so we get 50 times 10 is 500 meters per 36 seconds. And so if we divide 500 by 36, then the motorcycle is traveling approximately 13.9 meters per second.